for July 3rd, 2024. Before we get started, are there any announcements that people would like to share?
Yes, I have a couple, Michael. So the first announcement is that the NodeConf EU CFP is still open for one more week. So if you have not sent in your proposal and you plan to, and you have been late because it closed last week, okay, but we know you will miss it. So because you know you will miss it, we are extending for one more week, so you can send it. However, consider that we are not accepting any more AI talks. Okay, we have been swamped by AI talks, and we can't hear anymore. There will be enough AI of the conference already, so don't. Okay.
What if AI generates my talk?
Well, if AI generates your talk, it's going to be a problem. Okay. So AI conf you, yes, we can do AI conf you. Yep. So yeah, that's the gist. So anyway, that's fun. So this is the first thing. Okay. The second thing is there is some discussion around the foundation on potentially restructuring all the project organization under a GitHub Enterprise account or multiple GitHub Enterprise accounts. I don't know exactly how that will span out, what would happen, but I think it's important. If somebody has concern with that, okay, or want to be involved in the conversation, it is the issue. And thank Claudio for reminding that is something that...
Yeah, I'd be interested in understanding, like, why.
Essentially, the reason is to avoid situation like we had in the past of project of maintainers disappearing and with maintainers that becomes completely unresponsive and you need to perform certain actions to sunset projects.
Right. Okay. So, but that, like, the title of that anyway is like adding a user as a
yeah, but the user, so adding a user, unfortunately, is against the term and condition of the foundation of the GitHub or something like that. It's described in the issue. So the current discussion is to do a GitHub Enterprise thing, but the generic part is adding a way for the foundation to intervene in case something happens. I don't know. This is up for discussion. Okay.
Because yeah, I think absorbing all of the node projects, like the organizations, would be a big change anyway.
Yeah, it's not moving all the projects inside the same org. Okay, the org stays the same. It's only a matter of permissions and things like that.
Claudio has his hand up.
Sorry if I'm speaking out of turn or pretty much the idea is that the foundation has a way to make administrative billing legal actions on the foundation's organizations, like GitHub organizations, if issues happen. And one of the ways of doing so is by transforming each one of the organizations under a GitHub Enterprise company. Like, this is an invisible thing that, like, for our users on GitHub is invisible, but it's only visible for, like, for the people that are member of those organizations. It's like an enterprise feature. So the orgs, they have the same name, everything says the same name. It just, there's like a holding, invisible holding above all those organizations, which, yeah, like, for example, at HubSpot, we have this also. So it's a little bit confusing, and it's a new feature from GitHub Enterprise on github.com.
Yeah, I think we just want to be careful. We have some pretty good features on our current account, and I wouldn't want it may not look like it's changing anything, but like if it shuffles something and we lose all the credits we get, that would not be a good thing. But okay, no, that's a good one to make sure people are aware.
Anyway, yes, we need to be aware. This is a question. We need to be aware. Okay, the key part here is that being aware of that happening. Okay, And if there are concerns, it's probably the time to voice those concerns, essentially. Then, yeah, those two things. Oh, there is one last bit. Okay, we have investigating the possibility to do a collaborator summit, not just collaborator summit at the end, immediately after NodeConf EU in Dublin. So if this is important to your plans, we are working to make it happen. Okay, so it's is it happening? Not sure yet. We need to see it if we can make it happen, but we are working on it. Claudio?
Yeah, just a quick question. Were we talking about making before, or was it just an idea? Now we prefer to do it after.
It seems it seems impossible to do it before, because of renting space in Dublin. Okay, especially over the weekend, it's actually very tricky.
Oh yes, it's a
for
weekend,
security
okay.
reason. So it seems the best outcome would be to do it on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah. I could reach you out on a GM if you don't mind, because I could ask for HubSpot to host a venue.
HubSpot has space, right? As a space there. Okay.
Yeah, we have an office on Docklands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you start a conversation on Slack, and then we can regulate on that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Any other
Thank you.
announcements or the announcement that people have?
Should we briefly mention the security release that's been delayed?
Raphael?
Sorry, you were mentioning about the delay of security release.
I don't know if there's much more we need to say other than it's been delayed.
Yeah, we are considering delaying it a bit more until next week, because Thursday is a national US holiday, and releasing a secret patch on Thursday will make people to work on that day specifically, and considering it's close to the weekend, they might miss that. So we are planning to delay it to next Monday, but it's not official yet. We are still discussing.
Okay. Any other announcements people have? Okay, if not, let's move on to the next things in the agenda. Just our reminder to nominate people for the contributor spotlight. And then on to CPC and board meeting updates. Matteo, anything on that front?
No, no big update on that front. The change on the CPC that I mentioned already, and on the board side, nothing that is of relevance for Node.js. But on the side, I might have something for the private section. So
Okay.
if I put it on the queue of the private section, because I have something to
good.
share for that.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so now let's move over to why we have Claudio here. Thank you very much for coming as a guest. To talk about the creation of the official Discord server on the Node project, number 872. I know we did touch on it briefly last time, but there was still some confusion over the proposal, what it was, and I think Claudio can help us by sort of giving an update and answering any questions. So Claudio, I'll hand it over to you and we can go from there.
Thank you, Michael. Wow, I don't really know exactly where to start from. I'm not sure how much each one of you are up to speed with the topics. I'm just going to give a quick overview. There's this idea of initially back all the way when I started writing the issue of creating a Discord server where people could hang out, make Node.js questions, where we as some collaborators on a volunteer basis, if they wish to be there to share announcements, release updates, where our ambassadors could hang out with the upcoming ambassador program and share live streams. Just people that are interested in Node.js to hang out and be an official space where we can actually support and have as an umbrella. But since the discussions kind of started, there's already a kind of successful community that has been out there for a few years, where they have already like around 40,000 members. And I talked with the maintainers of that community, and they seem to be pretty friendly. They already interacted with a project in the past. And so the idea diverted into, we could repurpose the Discord server into the official server instead of creating a brand new one, and learn with the experiences that those maintainers of the Discord server had over the last years, and craft something together that works both for us, the Node project, and for them. In terms of moderation, in terms of what we want to do in the server and channels, and what sort of things we want to actually share there, what sort of things we actually want to maintain there. Yeah. As far as I know, as the last update, both on their side and our side, we were pretty much happy with the proposition that, for example, the most important thing is that, of course, they have their own code of conduct, but they would also adopt the OpenJS Foundation code of conduct and adapt something like this. We would have people from the moderation team as administrators there in case that they need to intervene, but pretty much they would have their own volunteers to keep the place tidy and safe, and we would need to act as moderators if we receive reports as usual. So pretty much it can be self-run in that sense, which is like governed, like a joint governing between the already administrators of that server and the TSC/moderation team of Node. That's where it's standing right now, pretty much.
Does anybody have any questions? I guess I'll just recap so my understanding is it's basically like we're forming a partnership with this existing Discord server, and we'd still, they would still operate as a separate group almost, but like we would have some connection and some of those safety nets that you mentioned in terms of like if things really went wrong, some of our moderators and stuff could get involved, but it's more of a like us. The association, I guess, in my mind, is meant to help support there being a place that we're aware of for people to go to on the Discord side. Not that like we would require any project members or that it would necessarily be used in the core Node.js.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like existing communities, they will still exist if people eventually just shift over to the Discord server, more centralized place. But it's not part of this discussion to like either disable GitHub discussions or shift support from OpenJS Slack to Discord. Although I do believe the newcomers or people that just want to ask Node.js specific help and not necessarily just core collaboration or etc., they might probably prefer going to Discord rather than Slack because they need to create an account, yet another app they need to have installed, etc. And for the last few weeks I've been there, it's pretty active in the sense of people asking questions and people helping each other. So that's actually something very cool. But yeah, I just exactly what you mentioned, Michael. Those are exactly the terms. the idea is to make it an official community in the sense that Discord has a verification process, and verified communities, they receive a few perks and allows the communities to have a better highlight on the Discord platform. It also increases the likeness of people to want to join that community because it's an official community. It's common-ish for open source projects and organizations / corporations to have Discord servers right now. Like Cloudflare, for example, they have Sentry, they have a bunch of organizations that collaborate with us. They have like Vercel, they also have one. So yeah, there are a bunch of open source communities also there. There are a bunch of things that I personally, but that's just my personal belief on the thread model of Discord that helps people to better find questions and collaborate with each other in the sense of asking for support. Plus, I think it would be an ideal place besides of Twitch for like people that stream, Node.js, to also, for example, live stream there, or even make like audiences, like fireside chats or whatever that you want, to interact with the community. I think it's a perfect space for allowing the other community to interact with the project. And of course, zero, requirement for a collaborator to be there, but they will all be invited if they want to just casually be there. They would have roles, in the sense that for the members of the community to identify, oh, those are Node.js collaborators, or those are TSC members, or those are ambassadors. But that's it. There's no requirement for them to actually do anything or to be active in those communities.
Is there any potential controversy or anything by us choosing this one in particular? Like, is there just exploring potential questions, right? Like, not that I have any knowledge or concern or anything, but just saying, like, are we potentially going to get somebody complaining, or like that's just something we should understand, not that it would.
In my
Side.
experience, so now I'm going to cite a part of experience from back again from the GNOME project when we were switching over communication platforms for official channels. So Node officially has Slack, like not really officially, but quote has Slack and IRC, which are maintained by contributors and etc. For example, the Node project is not administrated on the OpenJS Slack, and the OpenJS Slack has channels for Node.js, but is mostly used for core collaborators or actually working groups of the Node project to collaborate, not really for community people to be there. Most of the questions that I see there, some people answer, but some they don't. I think, yes, there can definitely be people that say why they choose Discord to be an official community. Why not
I wasn't
this?
thinking actually of Discord in particular. I was more like this Discord server versus some other one, or.
Gotcha, I see.
Yeah, no, I wasn't
apparently
thinking like choosing another one. Like, I don't want to get into the arguments. I can buy into there's a bunch of people who want to use Discord. The project helps those people get together. That, like, it's good to me. We're not going to switch necessarily our Slack usage, but that sounds good. I was more like,
yeah,
if there's two primary ones and like we picked one, is the other one going to come around and say, hey, what are you doing? Or like, are there any dynamics like that we should be aware?
right. As far as of my research on the web, not saying that me searching on the web for a whole week means that I scanned the whole internet, but there's only one that exists I have found, and that actually has big usage. I haven't found any other Discord community. I've seen programming language communities or other specific communities for certain things that also have Node.js channels, for example, but they're not a Node specific community, for example. I'm not saying that Node is the only thing that they can talk on the official community. Like, one common practice for Discord servers is to have off-topic channels, and also channels where they can ask or talk about other topics that we deem relevant to be part of the server. But you get what I meant, right? So yeah. It's also relevant to mention that we already actually mentioned them on our website since a long time ago, apparently. I didn't know that, but actually when we go to the collaboration page on node.js.org, in the lower part, we actually mention that community there. And yeah.
Are there any questions anybody else has? I guess the next step, Claudio, is like you're exploring with them and gonna put together a proposal that documents like here's what how the connection would be, right? And I guess in the end, like the major change for them would be they would now be like flagged as this is officially associated with the node project. And there's a few people from the node project connected to them, right? And for us, it's like we've lent the project's name a little bit in terms of credibility on that.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I'm going to schedule with them a call so we can start to draft up, what they're looking for, what we can, kind of draft up a proposal so I can share the issue. On one side, on the foundation side, I think the foundation staff would want to be on the Discord server because they also want to keep an eye on it and make announcements on it for reasons, and also because it needs the foundation's approval for the usage of the Node.js brand. But yeah, I'm pretty much just going to, reunite with them, sync, and then I will update the issue with all relevant details from what is the channel server structure that we're aiming for, what are the sort of content that we're aiming to actually have there, the sort of roles, like flares, pretty much flares, on Discord, and relevant details, and also shared responsibilities in terms of moderation, etc. For what I understood, they will be 100% fine by keeping moderating it for most of the basic, spam stuff, etc., all the trivial stuff. But our moderation team and TSC would also have the power to make any moderation action, and also in case that we deem that some of their moderators or maintainers are doing something that violates something on our side, or we are not in agreement, we can at any moment just pull off or also, do administrative actions. It will be like a shared ownership. If it will work well, that's something to foresee, of course. But so far, all my conversations, the people maintaining them seem to be pretty chill and pretty reasonable, yeah. So I don't foresee at the moment any issues, but happens to be seen, of course.
One thing to think about is like we may want like I don't know, a team or something like for the moderators in the node org as like an easy way for them to say like at mention members.
Yes, I was thinking that we could have a share private channel on OpenJS Slack. We'll just share with the node moderation team, and their moderation team like a bridge in a certain way.
Yep.
Because if you're not active there for whatever reason and they need to add, ping us. Our moderation team is always supposedly active on the OpenJS Slack, which is our official place to actually the moderation team to talk, and do things. Yeah.
It sounds good. I could see like also like the news that we publish into like we have a channel in Slack we publish the news to. We might want to mirror that so it's published over somewhere on the Discord server.
Yeah, I see that on Slack we don't really have an actual announcement channels. I see that, for example, sometimes Raphael other releasers, when they want to post something announcement, they post in 3-4 different channels like node releases, node core, node, and etc. There we would have a dedicated announcements channel. I still think it's 100% important to also share on this Slack.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we don't have a dedicated channel on Slack. Maybe we could make a dedicated Node.js announcements channel. Not sure how
The one I
effective
was
it would
thinking
be.
of is we have Node.js newsfeeder, which basically automatically like with things are commented on certain issues, they automatically get published there along with releases and other stuff. And so that
Is
was
it the
one in
project that you
particular.
and Ulysses maintained?
Yeah, that's the one that Ulysses put together. Anyway, just the thought of like some things like that we might have published.
Wait, is there an
in
actual,
Morgan.
sorry for interrupting, is there an actual Slack channel where the newsfeeder publishes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, like
That's
you can get
actually-
it through Newsfeeder, but yeah, Node.js-news-feeder, everything is pushed to there as well. So
I believe we should highlight the existence of the channel a little bit better.
yeah, like things like that. But yes, but I'm thinking like if we got into
Well, we can
Discord,
connect to the
maybe
Discord
that's a
server.
bigger
Yes,
audience,
we can
so,
definitely do that. Yeah.
Any other questions from people, concerns? I sounds like I don't see anybody asking questions or whatever. It sounds like everybody should be then good with the concept and. Okay, well, thanks for coming and sort of giving that extra insight, because I know the issue is pretty long. At least for me, I read through it and it's sort of like, okay, let's be good to hear from you direct. Okay, well, I think that's it. We'll move on to the next topics on the agenda.
Just to finish, if anyone has follow-up questions, people that are watching the stream or people that watch the recording, feel free to reach me out or just send a message, like comment on the issue. I'd be more than happy to try to reply as best of my knowledge. Thank you all for having me and enjoy the rest of the meeting.
Yeah, thanks. Talk to you later. Okay, so the next one, I think it was already mentioned. Let me see, was that the one in the issue? Yeah, pretty sure the strategic initiative on primordials, there was a comment, Antoine commented that we don't need to discuss that this week because there was a plan last time. I wonder, Antoine, do you think we should take that off of the TSC agenda until you two come back?
Yeah, I think if yeah, probably don't need to be in the meetings.
Okay, so yeah, if there's something then to bring back, we can just add the tag back, but sounds like.
I just had one question about that.
Okay.
I see the various open PRs about removing primordials, and I think that's great. Um, for at least one of them, could we run some kind of benchmark to see what the performance change is? Like, I'm assuming it's either neutral or positive, but if it's a performance regression, that seems like something we should know before we merge all these.
The CI is locked, so we cannot benchmark.
Or even
those.
can you run a benchmark locally?
I think Matteo has some setup to.
Yeah, I
that?
could, but I think it's probably the best way just to wait for the benchmark machines to get online when CI is unlocked.
Okay,
Like,
I mean, I guess they're not going to merge
I
in
don't.
before
It
then
can't
anyway, so
land.
sure.
It can't land anyway. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
there's
fine.
no.
Do we
Um,
still have benchmark machines?
Yeah,
Yes.
we
Yeah,
do.
they were added back.
Okay, because they were off some time ago, right? I was using a personal one.
Yeah. So what happened was that the one from Nearform were dismissed, and then the foundation bought a couple of servers from Ethner, dedicated servers on
All right,
rented.
yeah, I remember that now. Okay.
You were involved, so
Yeah.
Okay, so on the next one, just next funding deep dive. So Marco has opened a doodle poll. So if you're interested in getting involved in that discussion, please take a look on the doodle and add in your availability. Open in terms of the Discord server, we just had a good discussion of that. And that takes us down to the strategic initiative. So I think we have time. We can go through a quick review of those. Sorry, I'm just getting to them. Okay, well, I think we just touched on core promise APIs. I don't know if there's anything more to talk about on that one.
No, nothing this week.
Chenzong, anything you want to share on Shadow Realm?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to revive Mateo's work on Node Realm because on Shadow Realm there was no memory issue. The primary issue is in test infrastructure, so I'm still working on reviving the Node Realm proposal and see what's the next blocking issue.
Okay. Just looking at who we have. Oops, here I can promote Tobias. Next 10, the survey results have landed. So if you're interested about the results, they're in the repo now. And the next 10 team is going basically, we just started to discuss them next week and then last week, and next meeting we'll be looking at those and seeing if there's any sort of next steps that we're thinking about as well. And on that front, we also mentioned that, still looking at rescheduling the deep dive on funding. So that we already mentioned. And I think that takes us to the end of the list. Anything else that we should chat about before going into the private section?
Michael, I was off. Did you open the issue about the Hero devs?
I did. So that actually was, that's a good one. Let me just go take a look and see how much discussion is there, and I'll paste it in. It's a discussion item in the node repo. Discussions. Where is that?
This is your bet is as good as mine. I have no idea.
Yeah, it should be. I swear I opened. I think I opened it in collaborators.
Ah, okay.
Right, because let me find that one. But I'll find the discussion repositories, collaborators.
Like the question is are we going to move forward with it? We want to open a public issue at this point. Don't think.
Well, that's where the discussion. So I think like I opened it here. And it's in the collaborator section because I think this is a collaborator discussion, not a everybody discussion, right?
Okay.
Like it's the project maintainers and project contributors. So that's why I thought collaborators, everybody in the org. Well, I guess the collaborators, and I'd have to go back. I think most people in the org have access to that. So we're basically saying, anybody have any concerns? And I don't see any. So I would take that as we've made that there's no objections to moving forward. Now, I'm open to people think we should open an issue more broadly than that, but I that's what I thought made sense in terms of asking.
Yeah, I think we should open a public issue at this point and see. This did not get much feedback, essentially.
Okay, so you think like one in Node.js Node as opposed to the collaborators?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that, and tag at Node.js collaborators. And then maybe if you want to log the discussion, you can log the conversation to collaborators only and something like that. So.
Yeah, or I guess we could mention collaborators in this particular issue.
Let's try that.
that would be the other, like at some point, yeah, so like I'm happy either way. Okay, well, yeah, I see you just CC'd the collaborators.
That's it.
And how long do you think we should wait for more feedback, right? Like I'm guessing we just may not get any, right? Like it's
Yeah, that's my point.
people are like, yeah, you know, so we wait like what do you think, another few days or
Let's I would say let's wait till next meeting and then
okay.
I would put it on the agenda and so on. Like I think we can.
I just want to add that if you have any concern that you might want to like ask privately questions, you can ask me since I'm the one who's doing the work for Hero Devs on Node. So I guess you can just like talk to me if there is any concern or questions.
Okay. So yeah, you mentioned the collaborators, that should hopefully get to everybody. And then I made a comment that we'll plan to wait until next TSC meeting and then plan to confirm or not, and based on what kind of feedback we've got there. Okay. The other one I will just mention in the same sort of vein, for the Spotlight program, I did open a PR excluding TSC members. So basically voting and regular TSC members from the eligibility. Just there were some discussions in one of the channels about like trying to avoid creating celebrities or anything like that. And one of the things we thought is like, well, okay, let's try and make sure that I think at least to start, we focus on, you know, individual developers who are contributing good features as opposed to people who are already been, you know, recognized and brought into the technical steering committee. But since that affects everybody here, I thought I'd at least mention it before that lands. Any other things we should chat about before we close out? Okay, if not, I will, everybody stick around, please, but I will stop the live stream. Thanks for everybody who's been on the live stream. We'll see you in GitHub.